She was young, beautiful, and untouchable, until war turned her into the ultimate weapon. Wang Qiaqi steps into the role of Mrs. Mac, a glamorous woman with only one mission: seduce a dangerous man and lure him to his death. But every stolen glance, every intimate touch pulls her deeper into his world. What begins as a performance of passion soon becomes something real, intoxicating, forbidden, and impossible to escape. In this story, desire isn't just temptation, it's the deadliest trap of all. She's playing with fire and got burnt. Don't miss more wild, dangerous love stories. Hit subscribe before the spies catch you. During the War of Resistance against Japanese aggression in 1938, a young woman named Wang Qiaqi moves from Shanghai to Hong Kong to study at Leung University. Innocent yet strikingly beautiful, she soon catches the attention of her male classmate Kwang Yumin, who invites her and her roommate, Lai Xiujin, to join a small patriotic drama club formed by students. The group stages plays and donates their proceeds to support the war effort. Qiaqi quickly becomes the star of the troupe, captivating audiences with her performances and impressing her fellow members with her natural talent. For Qiaqi, being part of the drama group serves as a welcome distraction from the war. However, things begin to fall apart when Kwang's grief over his brother's death in the war, combined with his overzealous patriotism, drives him to pursue something far more dangerous. He suggests that the group take direct action against a man named Yi, a powerful aide to the puppet government of Wang Jingwei. Outwardly, Yi poses as a peacekeeper between China and Japan, but in reality, he betrays his own people by leaking information to the Japanese in exchange for personal gain. To Kwang, there is no greater act of patriotism than eliminating such a traitor. The plan is simple but perilous. With her remarkable acting skills, Qiaqi is chosen to go undercover as Mrs. Mac, the refined wife of an import company owner. Her role is to draw close to Yi, win his trust, and eventually lure him into a situation where he can be assassinated. The others in the group support her by assuming various cover identities of their own. Qiaqi penetrates Mrs. Yi's home and social circle effortlessly. Despite his cold and guarded nature, Yi soon finds himself intrigued by her. At the same time, Mrs. Yi and her circle of friends grow fond of Qiaqi, often inviting her to join their regular mahjong games. Around the table, they gossip freely, sharing personal details about their marriages and discussing the uncertain fate of the war. Qiaqi's bond with Yi begins to take shape during one of these mahjong sessions. When Mrs. Yi mentions that her husband needs a reliable tailor for his suit, Qiaqi recommends her own and begins jotting down her contact on a slip of paper. Before she can finish, Mrs. Yi interjects, noting that she already has her number. Qiaqi casually sets the note aside, but Yi discreetly commits the digits to memory. Not long after, he calls her directly, and together they visit the tailor before embarking on what becomes their first date. One day, during another mahjong gathering, Qiaqi excuses herself, claiming she has an important appointment. Mrs. Yi tries to persuade her to stay, but she insists and is driven to town by Mrs. Yi's chauffeur. Once dropped off, Qiaqi scans the street carefully before slipping into a cafe. Inside, she heads to the phone and makes a coded call to Kwang. She informs him that she is about to meet Yi. The signal is clear. It is time to strike. Kwang and the others begin to prepare. Later, Qiaqi meets Yi at an expensive, secluded restaurant. Over dinner, his usual stiffness begins to wane as he finds himself both amused and charmed by her. When the evening ends, he offers her a ride home and insists on walking her to the door. Subtly, Qiaqi tries to lure him inside, while the others, watching from inside, quietly position themselves to strike. But Yi, cautious as ever, declines her unspoken invitation, explaining that he has another appointment. Their carefully laid plan collapses at that moment. Qiaqi later admits that Yi would have taken the chance if circumstances were slightly different. His attraction to her is undeniable, and she knows exactly what he desires. The only reason he hesitates is that he believes she is married. She senses that if they meet again, he may not be able to restrain himself, and intimacy could follow. But there is one problem. Qiaqi is still a virgin, and this could expose her deception as a married woman. Jujin informs her that the group already discussed this and agreed. If the mission requires it, she will have to sleep with one of the male members. Despite her reluctance, Qiaqi eventually agrees to do it with Leung Junsheng, the only one with experience. The encounter leaves her numb, pushing her to withdraw and distance herself from the others. Not long after, as she prepares for another visit to Mrs. Yi, she receives a call from her. She informs Qiaqi that her husband has been reassigned to Shanghai and they will be moving immediately. The news crushes her. All their sacrifices, the risks, and even surrendering her innocence had been for nothing. With their mission ruined, the group begins to pack up. The atmosphere is tense and they all look defeated. In the middle of this, Yi's assistant officer, Cao, who comes from the same village as Kwang, suddenly arrives. He reveals that he has long suspected them of plotting something and threatens to expose their secret. Panic erupts, leading to a violent struggle. In the chaos, Cao is brutally killed. For all of them, it is the first time taking a life. The reality of it leaves them horrified and traumatized. Overwhelmed, Qiaqi runs away and never looks back. 3 years later, Qiaqi now lives in Shanghai with her aunt while continuing her studies. There, she reunites with Kwang. He explains that their activities in Hong Kong had been watched closely by another faction that supported their mission to eliminate traitors. The night Qiaqi fled, this group stepped in, cleaned up the mess, and smuggled him and the others safely out of the city. Now, Kwang has taken on a new role as an undercover agent for the National Bureau of Investigation and Statistics, while also working as a spy for the Kuomintang, the political party determined to overthrow the Japanese occupation and the puppet government of Wang Jingwei. Kwang tells Qiaqi that he has been searching for her. He explains that his mission to eliminate Mr. Yi has become even more urgent, now that Yi is leading Wang Jingwei's spy operations. Outwardly, Yi presents himself as a peacekeeper, but beneath the surface he is a traitor, serving as a loyal subordinate to the Japanese. He orchestrates the assassinations of Chinese judges, scholars, and journalists who resist the occupation. But taking him down is no longer simple. His security has grown tighter, and the group needs Qiaqi's help. Kwang takes her to the Kuomintang, where she is drawn back into a new assassination plot against Yi. The plan is headed by a man named Wu. Without delay, Wu briefs her on the mission and gives her a new cover story to carry forward. Qiaqi carefully writes down the details, committing them to memory as instructed. Wu hands her a small button-shaped chip that she must sew into her clothing whenever she meets with the target. He warns her to remain natural and composed, as Yi and his circle are constantly on guard before leaving. Qiaqi gives Wu a letter, asking him to mail it to her father in England. Years earlier, her father had promised to bring her to England, but after months of silence, his recent letter revealed he had been unable to keep that promise due to hardships. Wu assures her that once the mission is complete, she will be sent to England. Yet after reading her letter, he quietly burns it. Qiaqi resumes contact with Mrs. Yi, joining her for gossip-filled mahjong games. When Mr. Yi returns home, he seems pleasantly surprised to see her again. Later, Qiaqi excuses herself to retrieve items she brought for Mrs. Yi, and Yi meets her in the room. She remarks that he looks thinner, and he responds that she has changed as well. 3 years have passed, and the war continues to wear everyone down. She explains she did not bring him anything, unsure of what he might like, but he tells her that her presence alone is enough. Sometime after, Qiaqi meets Kwang on a bus. She discreetly slips him a map of Mr. Yi's residence and provides updates on his movements, his employees, and the structure of his household security. During breakfast one morning, Mrs. Yi mentions she will be visiting a friend for mahjong. Yi suspects that his wife might be rushing their guest to leave, but Qiaqi tells him she already plans to spend the afternoon at the cinema. On her way to the cinema, Qiaqi is intercepted by Yi's driver. Yi has instructed him to pick her up. Instead of the cinema, he takes her to a hotel in a secluded location. The driver hands her a slip of paper with a room number. Inside, Yi is waiting. When she enters, he studies her in silence before signaling her closer. As she approaches, he suddenly seizes her. Qiaqi urges him to slow down. While she undresses, Yi rises abruptly, tears her dress, and hurls her against the wall with brutal force. Stunned, She struggles to comprehend what is happening. He drags her to the bed, strikes her with his belt, then uses it to bind her hands, forcing himself on her. Even his kiss is violent, leaving her shaken and bewildered, uncertain whether it is a twisted fetish or his belief that she might resist. When it is over, he leaves her torn, exhausted, and helpless on the bed. Days later, with his wife away, Yi comes to the house and goes straight to Qiaqi's room. She tries to run, but he holds her back. She confesses her hatred for him, and he acknowledges it, almost as if conceding that she is right to feel that way. Yet this time, his demeanor shifts. There is hesitation, as though he is torn between violence and tenderness. They share a moment of vulnerable conversation before desire overtakes them. Their passion carries on until exhaustion, and afterward, Qiaqi tells him to find her an apartment. He gives a faint smile, drawing her close. Not long after, Qiaqi meets Kwang at the cinema. He tells her their safe houses have been raided and several members of the resistance arrested. All communication lines have been severed, and she is warned to avoid previous meeting points until new orders arrive from the top. The news unsettles her deeply. The mission has become more dangerous, and she longs for it to be over so she can escape both the charade and her entanglement with Yi. Kwang cannot promise when it will end, only that she must stay in character. He assures her he will not let harm come to her. Qiaqi resumes her double life. She continues to sit at mahjong tables, charming the ladies as the elegant Mrs. Mac, while beneath her composure lies constant fear and uncertainty. Most troubling of all, she has not seen Yi since their last encounter. She wonders what is occupying his thoughts or what he might be planning. Late one night, she hears him return and goes to meet him. He explains that he has been consumed with work. His men had discovered a Chinese resistance cell and captured 10 members. They had undergone rigorous training, forcing him to personally interrogate and torture them for information. None of them broke. The revelation scares Qiaqi, but she masks it by accusing him of neglect. She admits she had wondered if there was another woman, then adds that she has wasted all her money on mahjong, unable to master the game. Yi comforts her, telling her to rest and promising that he will get her an apartment. Qiaqi meets with Kwang and Wu to update them on her progress. Kwang believes it is time to strike once Yi secures an apartment for her, but Wu insists on delaying the plan. Their information source has been compromised, and the timing is too risky. Frustrated, Kwang argues that prolonging the mission only endangers Qiaqi further. She has done her part seducing Yi and winning his trust, and he cannot understand why they must keep waiting. Wu cuts him off sharply. He reminds Kwang that being a spy demands patience and control. Yi murdered his family, and he longs for vengeance more than anyone. But even so, the mission must proceed with precision, not impulse. He orders Qiaqi to continue seeing Yi, to report back regularly, and never to act without his command. She agrees, though the weight of it grows heavier each day. Qiaqi confesses the torment she feels. The man she is helping to destroy has not only taken her body, but is slowly reaching her heart. Each time she submits to him, she feels enslaved by her own role. And every time they meet, she silently hopes it will be the night the mission ends, that the men will burst in and kill him so she can finally be free. However, Wu doesn't want to hear it. Soon after, Yi's driver escorts her to the Japanese district under his orders. A woman leads her into his quarters, and Qiaqi wonders why he has brought her here. Yi explains he missed her and wanted her close while he handles his business. The two share a tender evening together. Qiaqi even sings for him, her voice melting his defenses until tears fall from his eyes. Later, Yi accompanies her back. Before she alights from the car, he hands her a sealed envelope and instructs her to deliver it to a man named Hali Salahuddin at the address written on it. Qiaqi meets Kwang and Wu to show them the envelope. Inside, they find only a name card bearing Yi's name. They become suspicious. Wu orders her to proceed anyway, and they decide to position themselves nearby to keep watch. Before she leaves, Kwang seizes her in a sudden kiss. Qiaqi reminds him that he could have done this 3 years ago and asks why he never did. Kwang has no answer. The address leads her to a jewelry store. She scans the surroundings, noticing the resistance members strategically positioned outside. Inside, Salahuddin welcomes her, and to her relief, she discovers Yi has simply arranged for her to choose a diamond for a ring. She selects a rare 6-carat pink diamond. The resistance finally decides it is time to strike. Chiachi waits at a cafe for Yi to pick her up. While there, she places a coded call to the resistance, letting them know she is about to move. Moments later, Yi arrives, and she joins him in the car. On the way, she asks if they can stop by the jewelry store to collect the ring, which should be ready by now. Yi agrees. Upon arriving at the shop, Chiachi grows tense. Outside, she recognizes every member of the resistance positioned in place, ready to act. However, she tries to mask her uneasiness as they enter. Salahuddin welcomes them and presents the finished ring. Reluctantly, she accepts it. She asks Yi if he likes her choice. He replies that jewels mean little to him. He only wants to see it on her finger. When she slides the diamond onto her hand, an unexpected wave of emotion overwhelms her. The ring, rare and magnificent, glitters as Yi holds her hand, admiring how perfectly it suits her. Chiachi struggles to hold back tears. When she tries to remove it, he asks her to wear it, but she tells him she can't wear something so valuable in the streets. He reassures her that it is safe as long as he is with her. His words cut deeper than she can bear, and her mask begins to crack. Unable to contain herself, she urges him to leave. Yi quickly catches on to what she means and flees the shop, diving into his car as the driver speeds away. By nightfall, Chiachi and the rest of the resistance are captured. Only Wu manages to escape. Yi's assistant presents him with the case file and informs him that all members, except Chiachi, have been interrogated and sentenced. He asks if Yi wishes to interrogate her himself, but Yi declines. Instead, he signs their death warrants. Before leaving, the assistant places the 6-carat diamond ring on the table, the ring Chiachi had returned through him. That night at 10 o'clock, Chiachi and the others are taken to a quarry. Forced to their knees at gunpoint, they wait in silence. Kwang locks eyes with Chiachi, their gaze heavy with sadness, regret, and hopelessness, yet absent of fear. Meanwhile, Yi returns home. He goes straight to the guest room where Chiachi once stayed and sits quietly on the bed, lost in thought. His wife, noticing that her husband's secretary and colleagues have removed Chiachi's belongings, asks what has happened. Yi simply dismisses her. Unbeknownst to Mrs. Yi, her husband is consumed with grief. Having realized that the mistress whom he had fallen deeply for belongs to the same cause he has sworn to crush. The story ends with Yi staring sullenly into the dark night as the city bells toll. And that's how beauty, betrayal, and one shiny diamond ruined everybody's life. If you made it this far, you're officially too deep in the drama to leave now. So smash subscribe before Mr. Yi signs your death warrant.